Good morning. It's an early, I don't know, what is it? Yeah, it's 10 after 6 on Saturday morning, so I don't see people piling onto this live stream. But I'm up. So I was going to write about this, and I just decided that instead I'm going to talk about it and see if that helps me work through some things. I may end up writing about it too. But I was with my friend Libby yesterday. We meet on the last Friday of the month. And we were talking about sort of where we're at and what we're coming out of. And there's a trauma. That's really a strong word. It's a really strong word. But there's a trauma around coming out of what we have all lived through. Between the previous administration, which was a dumpster fire, and if you don't agree, feel free to hop off, because I'm not going to debate it with you. The trauma of that, coupled with the trauma of the ongoing Congress and their inability to want to preserve democracy as if it's not a living, breathing thing that can die, coupled with coming out of COVID, which I have such mixed feelings about, because we're double vaccinated, but come on, I live in a place where people don't believe it was a thing. So everyone feels suspect to me now. And I look around when we walk into spaces, and I no longer trust that people have the best interest of our community at heart. So I don't know when to wear a mask, when not to wear a mask, how out and about to get, how much to trust other people. It's very, very difficult. And some of this then lends itself to feeling this kind of low-grade depression, which is also too strong a word. I don't have the right words for how I'm feeling. I don't feel true trauma. I don't feel true depression. But there's just apathy's not right either. And I want to know if that's how you feel. Do you feel like we're coming out of something, except we're still not out of it, but people are acting like we're out of it, and I both want to be out of it and don't at all want to be out of it. For my little house in my little time, this time last year was among the most magical times of my life, because everybody was safe, everybody was employed. I've said that a million times. But it was quiet, and it was thoughtful, and it was reflective, and it was gentle. It felt gentle, and I know it didn't feel that way in emergency rooms and across the world as people were dying. So I know that I'm saying all this from a place of just preposterous privilege. But now it's like the dam broke, and life is back with a crazy vengeance. And 14 or 15 months of quiet has just been washed downstream with the tsunami of catch up. And so I'm in a frenzy at work. And I don't want to be in a frenzy at work, because I want the opportunity to continue to be thoughtful about work-life balance and how I show up and what I do and what I say yes to and what I say no to. And I want to continue to say no to all kinds of things, because that served me really well. And then there's all this other work I'm doing. There's Daily Dose and personal systems disruption, which I have been so singularly focused on in all my free time, getting up early, working on the weekends, really trying to dig into that stuff. And suddenly, I don't know if I want to keep doing it, because I don't know if I have the bandwidth to keep doing all of this as my day job just comes at me furiously fast. And so I feel real sadness about that, because that's the work that is, I believe, my future. And I'm thinking about setting it down, because I don't think I have the capacity to mentally navigate all of this while I'm still trying to come to terms with what we've just lived through. Still trying to come to a place where I live in a country sitting on vaccines that my fellow citizens will not take, but will not give to countries where people are dying horrific deaths as we speak. How do we reconcile that? For years, my friends and I have said things like, it's going to take an alien invasion for the world to come together. Guess what? COVID was an alien invasion. And we didn't come together. It polarized us maybe more than ever. And I would argue that's because of 45 and other leaders of his gross ilk. But set that aside. We did not come together. Which in some ways makes me feel like, well, I guess we're just on a mutual path of destruction because we don't seem to care. So I'm trying to grapple with all of these things, large and small, personal and global. And I just want to know if you feel this way too. I want to know what matters to you right now. If you feel like all hope is lost, if you feel like you're coming out of such a bleak time that looking forward feels uncertain and dull, despite having survived all of this. I just have no idea. I have no idea. But there's just, I feel unsettled. I feel distraught. And I just want to know if you feel that way too. And if you do, how are you dealing with it? And what are you doing? What's your self-care plan? Because we need one. And we can say, well, that's also coming from an incredible place of privilege. Yes, it is. Yes. So how do we navigate that? Well, you sort of have two options. You can give up your privilege. You can give up all your money and resources. You can go live in a inner city that's struggling. You can go live in a third world country, which I realize is an offensive phrase, so I'm sorry about that. You can go live amongst people for whom struggle is a real day-to-day thing. Or you can recognize that this is your life. You're in this position. Your job is to take care of yourself, your family, your community, your region, your country, your world, in that order maybe. And so you can do the best you can do for your little space on the planet. And that includes taking care of you. Because if you're not in a good place, how can you possibly show up for anyone else? Dr. Mary talks all the time on Daily Dose about you got to put your own oxygen mask on first. If you're not taking care of yourself, you cannot show up for someone else. So I hope you are putting some self-care into place. I hope you're giving yourself some grace. I hope you are, I don't know, just recognizing that we're coming out of something hard and we're still in something hard. And we might be moving towards many other hard things, because I don't think we dealt with the hard very well. And I think there's probably a reckoning to be had for that. And I think it comes legislatively, and I think it comes economically, and I think it comes in the form of more pandemics and more failure and more loss. And that's hard to imagine too. So, to the people who I have seen hop on Todd Hildebrand, wow, wow, 30 years, Todd Hildebrand, since you and I left high school. 30 years since I've seen you in the person, sir. Unbelievable. I hope you are well. Sue, I hope you are well. And anybody else who hops on, what I really want to know from you is, how are you navigating this super hard time? The uncertainty, Heidi Nermo, the uncertainty, the despair, the trauma. Maybe we don't have the right words for it, but I'm sure feeling it. And I think maybe some of you are too. So I'd really love to know, how are you taking care of yourself? How are you navigating through this? And where do we go forward to feel some hope? So it's not a very uplifting early morning thought, but I hope maybe some of you have answers that you'll share, and we can kind of try to work through it together. We're not out of it yet. There's a lot of work yet to be done. So on this Memorial Day, what in the world would our veterans think of the fact that the Republicans said no to a bipartisan search into the January 6th invasion? What in the world would our veterans think? What in the hell did they die for? Wow. Okay, before I go completely into doom and gloom, I'm going to hop off. Thanks for indulging me. This feels like an indulgent morning conversation because I don't have a lot of positive answers right now, but maybe you do. So, happy Memorial Day weekend. Find the veterans in your life who did not come home and figure out how to honor them. We owe it to them to do something better than what we're doing today. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.